In recent years, if there's one retro-style video game system that I've absolutely fallen in love with, it is the Blaze Entertainment Evercade. And this is just a really cool system. It allows you to play old console games from the Intellivision and the Atari 2600, old arcade games, plus newer games from like the NES, the Super NES, and more. And the best thing is, these aren't like NFC type, chips and whatnot. These are physical games. Physical cartridges, unlike say the Intellivision Amico had. And you can play hooked up to a television. They also have a couple different handhelds too. Now their sister company, Hyper Megatech, just came out with the Super Pocket. And the cool thing about this is a Game Boy style system that has built-in games either from Taito or I got the Capcom version here. The really cool thing though is, in addition to the built-in games, it is 100% compatible with the library of games that's compatible with the Evercade Versus, so that you can play these things on this thing. Now, there's a couple games that I guess the licenses are up that this may or may not work with. Mostly there's a Pac-Man one. I don't have that cartridge, unfortunately. But what we're gonna do, I'm really interested in this. I want to see how it comes out of the box, how the display looks, how it plays, and a whole lot more. Let's go get started. So here is the box for the Super Pocket. 12 arcade classics built in, including Street Fighter II Hyper Fighting, Mega Man, that wasn't an arcade classic, 1942 was, Final Fight. Arcade classics in your pocket, kind of hard to see that there. Do have the Hyper Megatech logo down there. A couple screenshots on the side, on the back. Easy mode for young players. It does have a 2.8-inch IPS screen, Evercade cart compatible, rechargeable battery, USB-C for charging. I appreciate that. And then it does talk about expanding your Super Pocket library with over 500 Evercade games available. More screenshots on that side there. So let's pop this open. Now, one thing of note on here, it does say number 2 on the side. I'm wondering if the Taito version says number 1. Let's see, get more games. Over 40 carts available. That's actually pretty sharp looking. I like that a lot. Visit hypermegatech.com/Evercade to learn more. On the back shows you, so coin up is select, start game is the start button. There is a menu button up top too. Headphone jack, power, and not sure what if that's brightness or what. And then does show your volume rocker on the back there too. Steady blue light, power on. Steady red light charging. Steady green light is charged, and you can win 10 Evercade cartridges. Sign up to their newsletter to enter to win. So that's very cool. I love posters like that. That's always just, it's cool. Let's see, system is out. What do we have down here? Anything? We do have a charging cable included with it. Come on, there we go. And that is USB A to C. Looks to be about 4 feet long. Nothing else in there, so set that aside. Here is the system itself. D-pad definitely reminds me of like what the Evercade EXP has. ABXY buttons fairly close together. I would like to see these spread out just a little bit more. Start and select looks like your speaker on the front there. There's your menu. Headphone jack, power, and charging. And on the back, R2, R1, L2, and L1. There's your volume. And then let's take a look here at the cartridge. That is no cartridge. That's literally just to hold it, or to cover up the back there. That's pretty interesting. Now I am going to grab an Evercade cartridge and see how the fitment is inside the system. Now, before I actually try out an Evercade cartridge in here, one thing I want to check out is this is the 1-Up cleaning card for Game Boys, and it actually cleans the Evercade Versus. I want to see. I would say no, do not try to use this to clean the Super Pocket. But we're going to go ahead. I've got a stack of games for the Evercade, and we are going to test it out, starting out with the Atari Collection 1. And as you can see here, these are same as far as size and everything. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to turn this on because the way since this isn't a cartridge, I gotta figure the games have got to be built in, right? So having to crank up the brightness on the camera a little bit, that is just the lighting here. This has nothing to do, in person the display is quite nice, so you do have display options. You can do an original aspect ratio, pixel perfect, or full screen. We're going to do pixel perfect. You can add shaders and scan lines, so you can do subtle or strong. I am not a scanline fan, so we are not going to utilize them. Sound, you have a master volume, music volume. Oh, I guess there's background menu music. Language, we have it set for English. Difficulty, you can do easy for younger players, normal, we're going to stay on normal. Legal and support and credits. Now one thing different on here compared to like the Evercades is there's no network connectivity, so like they do the free demos each month, this won't be able to do that. And then you can switch to, so there's the Capcom games, there's the Evercade. Without a cartridge in there, it says no cartridge in there. Walks you through what Evercade is. Go to Capcom. So there we have Street Fighter II, Strider, Mercs, 1942, 1943, 1944, Bionic Commando, Captain Commando, Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, Ghouls and Ghosts, Mega Man, and back to Street Fighter II. We're going to start there because I just want to see how the D-pad is. Oof. Gotta say, having problems rolling the D-pad. Oh, Blanca biting my face. So it got better the more I played there as far as just my comfort level with the D-pad. Yeah, the D-pad isn't great for fighting games, I would say. Well, we got them there. So, and then here you have the option to save, load, controls, display, and that's basically the same thing as what you saw in the menu options previously. Reset or quit, we are going to quit. Let's take a look at Mega Man. Actually, no, let's take a look at Final Fight. I love this game so much. One of my favorite arcade games of all times. Now this has, it has Guy, it has Cody, it has Hagar, so. Yeah, I think for something like this, the control definitely a better, or the D-pad definitely a better control than using on a fighting game, for example. Yeah, I would say this is playing great, and it looks great too. There's no on-screen indicator that I'm actually turning things up. Oh, that's considerably louder. Now let's go to Mega Man. I want to do that so we could all kind of hear. Now here the select button doesn't do anything because it's not an arcade game, it's an NES game. Now, I know the screen looks washed out in what you're seeing. I will tell you, looking at it here in person, it actually looks really, really good. In fact, let's do this. Here you can get a little bit of a better idea of what I'm seeing. I would say audio is good, not great. Definitely a little bit muffled. You can tell that this is kind of an underpowered speaker trying to do more than it was probably ever intended to. Okay, Mega Man looks good. Yeah, overall, I'd say the built-in games definitely look good. Let's try now the Atari cartridge. So you hit the menu button in the middle, and then we're going to go down to Evercade, and there we have, there's an update available for this cartridge to fix known issues and improve gameplay existence. Do I wish to apply the update? Sure. So how is it patching? Oh, it's patching it through the system, so it must have a database preloaded onto it. That's interesting. Cartridge patch is complete. Press A to continue. So we have Adventure, Alien Brigade, Aquaventure, Asteroids, Canyon Bomber, Centipede, Crystal Castles, Desert Falcon, Double Dunk, Food Fight, Gravitar, Missile Command, Motorcycle, Night Driver, Ninja Golf, Steeplechase, Sword Quest, Tempest. We're going to come back and do Tempest, Yar's Revenge. Yeah, we're gonna do Tempest to start with. Yeah, unlike later versions of Tempest, there is no soundtrack here, so I would say feels very responsive. Quit. Let's see how a 7800 game looks on here. I would say this looks pretty good. We're going to quit this one, and we're going to throw another cartridge in. Now this is the Data East collection. It's got 10 games on it. Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja, Breakthrough, Burger Time, Chain Reaction, Darwin 4078, Gate of Doom, Lock and Chase, Sly Spy, Tumble Pop, Wizard Fire, Bad Dudes again. Let's do Bad Dudes. This sounds great. I think this sounds better than what the Atari games we were getting earlier. Yeah, that's good. I do feel like this is a little bit narrower than I would have ideally liked. Alright, Peter Pepper. So far, so good on this. This is one of those games that it seems easy until you get yourself in a corner, and then it becomes really challenging real quick. Come on, yes, we did not get the egg, which is good. The yolk was on him. Oh no. Yeah, Burger Time's playing great. Up next, this is the Technos Arcade 1 collection with 8 games. We have Battle Lane Volume 5, Blackout, Double Dragon 2, Double Dragon 3, Mania Challenge, Minky Monkey, Mysterious Stones, the Combative Tribes. We're going to go to Double Dragon 2 because it's a good game. So what do I think of this overall? I love the compatibility with the Evercade cartridges. I think the display looks great. Oh, is this one of those? I forget. What's going on here? Yep, that's right. I got to press A. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, I was thinking I had to press A to go one. No, it is. Yeah, not digging the default controls on this. So jump, punch right, punch left. I do dig the fact that it is compatible with all the Evercade games, which is great. And they look great, too. I do wish it was a little bit bigger. That's what she said. It's interesting that it doesn't have the network compatibility, which is definitely something that the Evercade, the original Evercade, and the Versus both had that capability. I like the fact that the games are built in versus being on the cartridge, so that way I can go ahead and still be able to play the cartridge games in addition to the onboard ones and just bounce back and forth between the two. Oh, I forgot how bad this is. Yeah, this is the arcade version of Double Dragon 3, and it is very slow. You know, I think the display has, you know, good color, good brightness. I do wish that you could adjust the brightness to it. The easy mode is a nice thing to see for younger players. I do think this is a little bit more condensed than I would really like to see. I'd like this a little bit wider. but overall pretty comfortable. Wow, this is almost as bad as the arcade game. All right, no, we're not going to waste our time with that one. I do wish the functionality of A and B were reversed. I'll play the original Double Dragon. The triggers on the back are, by and large, at least for me, kind of useless at this point. I did not love the D-pad in Street Fighter, I'll tell you that much. But I think overall for games like this, it's fine. There we go. This is what I'm used to. The speaker could use a little bit of depth to it over what it has now. It's just not quite as rich as even like a GBA, I would say. It may sound a little bit better. The quality of this display, though, is exceptional. And you got to remember, too, this thing is only $60, which is, you're getting quite a bit for your money there. Hyper mega kudos to Hyper Mega Tech for the Super Pocket. This thing is pretty damn cool. I mean, it's fairly comfortable. For me, it's a little bit too compact. It could be maybe 10-15% bigger. I'd be a little bit happier with that. I love the fact that this also allows me to play my Evercade cartridges on the go. This form factor, much more comfortable for me than the Evercade EXP, for example. The display is beautiful, it looks good, it's responsive. The D-pad could use a little bit of work, I will say that. Especially I noticed on Street Fighter, as you saw, pulling off anything where I had to roll the D-pad was not exactly great. It does not have network connectivity, so you do lose that. But for $60, you're getting a hell of a little system here that plays pretty much the entire Evercade library on the go. And if you don't need that network connectivity, if you don't need to connect to your TV, if you don't need to have it work as a controller on an Evercade Versus, and if you want a smaller form factor, this does it all. And again, it's only $60. Now, I did pay for this myself. I purchased it through Rondo Products. I'll have a link below where you can check it out as well. And the cool thing is if you use promo code ROCKSOLID10, I believe you can save 10% off of this. I know on most items of the site, you can as well. Very, very cool. Very happy to go ahead and have this in the collection. Now, I will be working on designing a stand for this to go into with several Evercade cartridges as well, very similar to what I have up top here, and I'll flash it on screen for the Nintendo Game Boy. Don't know what we're gonna have for release date yet or cost. Probably 20-25 bucks is kind of what I'm thinking on that. But this definitely very cool. I do wish that there was a way that you could download or just purchase either the Capcom or the Taito games that are programmed into the system. That way, if you get the Capcom version, you want the Taito games, you can do that, and vice versa. But other than that, overall, this is a damn good little system. Now, if you do want to check out my review of the Evercade Versus, I will have it for you here on screen. Definitely check it out. Awesome ecosystem to go ahead and get involved with. And this, really, really cool.